On tonight's program, I would like to talk about Tia Mowry and how she demonstrates that we are in an era where the goal is to use, quote, love to destroy men. Before I do, I want to talk about something else that is actually very much related, and it dovetails off of it if it indulges me for a few moments to connect the dots. Today, at one time, the richest man in the world for a long bid, still one of the very richest men on the planet, worth tens of billions of dollars, Jeff Bezos has made it official. He has married his mistress. No shade. Married the mistress here. So, a lot of folks are congratulating. I guess if you're inclined to do so. I got more of a mind that how you get them is how you lose them. So, needless to say, for this one, I'm highly skeptical. Skeptical is the nice way of putting it. We'll go into some more judgment calls about this in a moment. But, be that as it may, Jeff Bezos has gone ahead and tied the knot here. He's married her. The media is, of course, celebrating it because, of course, he's got billions of dollars to spend. So they want to be on, quote unquote, the right side of this. There are so many things wrong here. So many things wrong on so many levels. It doesn't matter how much money you have. Money isn't going to hide your character. If you are a lonely male dealing with deficiencies, dealing with inadequacies, dealing with a lack of confidence at your core, you can devote your energies and concentrate your energies towards accomplishing a goal. In his case, the goal was to build Amazon. He was able to do that, but it is so obvious that right below the surface, there is just a cauldron of inadequacies. And the fact that this female was able to worm her way in is just proof positive of that. Now, there's no doubt that Jeff has probably taken some precautions to attempt to protect himself financially to the extent that he can. No doubt that he's had the lawyers put together a prenuptial agreement that looks like a telephone book. No doubt about that. So he may feel pretty secure in that regard. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. The problem is, why would you do this? Why? What sense does it make? Why in the world would you put yourself at this type of risk? Why would you even go? What is the benefit that you're going to receive marrying her that you already don't get? Why does she need to be married to you? Why? Why? She's 55 years old. 55. What is the benefit that you're going to receive marrying a 55-year-old? Heirs? Why do you have to do this? And that is what reveals and exposes his complete and utter lack of self-esteem and confidence. At this point right now, Jeff Bezos should be winging it. He should just be winging it and living it up and riding on out of here. But he's not. Because you see, when a man is deficient, he needs constant reinforcement and validation. And this is what allows females with a plan who can see that you got a whole lot of inadequacies that constantly have to be massaged and reinforced, and they worm their way in because you need constant validation and constant comforting. And she knows if she does that long enough, you will grow dependent. And then from there, all she got to do is just wait it out. She's not dumb. She realizes that Jeff got put through the damn ringer with the first wife. So you gonna have to play the long game. She knew that all the odds were against her. All the metrics were against her. She got to play the long game. And she did. And now bag secured. She is now in line for anything and everything. And there's a moral of the story that will be learned. And he's going to be first in line to learn it. Now, what is it that she did to be able to qualify to be with him? What is it that she did in order to be qualified to be with him in the first place? What did she do? I don't know. Not really 100% certain. The plastic surgeons have been hard at work. Although, based on some of the other information coming out about the wedding here. What? Oh, man. All of their celebrity guests, they're being told you can get to come to the Mystery Island Bash, but no phones. What are y'all gonna be doing? What are you all going to be doing that you don't want phones for? What are we doing here, people? Why does everything with these folks got to be Epstein Island? Why does all of it have to be Epstein Island? So, yeah, I wonder what she did, or what she do, to be able to qualify to be here, because all of this looks frighteningly familiar. All of it looks frighteningly familiar. So, yeah. And let me go ahead and give you the first moral of the story here. The first moral of the story is, fellas, don't be so damn weak. If that woman wasn't there to build it with you, why on earth would you entitle her to rights? She wasn't there to help you build it. Why would you make a permanent attachment and give entitlement in law and rights to somebody who wasn't even there to build the empire? She didn't lay one brick. She may have laid something else, but she didn't lay one brick, didn't lay one stone, didn't fight one battle, didn't put up one arrow, didn't sharpen one sword. All she got to do is lay up with you for a few years of loneliness. And now, okay, well, you know what? The first queen had to be here through the whole thing. Now, you going to be here. You get all that now. That's a man who doesn't value what he built. That is a man who does not value what he's built. This is pinching, pimping on an intergalactic level. This is pinching, pimping to an outrageous extreme. Just leave her where she is. But he is afraid because he has become dependent, because he lacks esteem. He needs validation and reinforcement. And because he requires that, he does. And when you become dependent, emotionally and physically, you start fighting for two things. Number one, you keep fighting to continue that supply of validation that you're getting from that person. Number two, he thinks he got something hot because he never really had hot options. So he's overlooked. Y'all see how she dresses when she goes places. So he think he got a chick who's Instagram ready. All right, Ma. Auntie, chill. All right, fine. He thinks he's stunting. And he doesn't want anybody else gripping those hydrogel injected butt cheeks. He doesn't want anybody else gripping that silicone injected stuff. He doesn't want anyone else doing it. So now he is overpaying because deep down he saw what she was willing to do to get him. He knows she cutthroat, and he's afraid that she will utilize the same tactics when it is in her convenience. And he's right, only now he's put himself at risk. When I did my program years ago about overpaying, the problem is people keep bidding up the price when you value them more than you value yourself. And when they see that you're chasing something and you are unwilling to get up and walk away from the negotiating table. And now Jeff Bezos has shown you all that a man's financial accomplishments have very little to do with his personal character and integrity. Most people assume that they are both coupled together, and that simply isn't accurate. It's not accurate at all. So the first lesson here is that why this is foolish. You're setting yourself up to be destroyed, because if the woman didn't build it with you and you are entitling her the rights to it, what you are telling her is that her simply being present is just as valuable as your last 3 decades of monumental work and achievement. Her achievement is just being present. But there's a bigger lesson I want to learn here, and I want you all to take away from this night. This dovetails off of the title for tonight's program and the subject. Oh yes, I'm bringing it 720 degrees. Do you see how all these people are gushing over it? Do you see how all these people, all these articles and things, oh man, she's updated her social media, and oh man, they're just loving it and cheering, and oh, isn't that great? Isn't that wonderful? All the congratulations. And I'm trying to tell you all something. To the men specifically, men today cannot afford to be this damn dumb, this damn clueless, and this naive. The same enthusiasm that all these people are showing for the wedding is going to be the exact same enthusiasm that they will be showing at the divorce.
And deal with it.
Now that's the problem. The same level of, quote, enthusiasm and cheering and smiling and attaboy and comment sections and you go girl and painting your nails emojis and all that's the same enthusiasm and cheering that they're showing when she marries you, with their total disregard for her character when she married you. They're cheering for it. That's the exact same cheering they'll be doing at the divorce. They will not be doing it any differently. This is the part that most lonely, sick with loneliness males today, and we have a true loneliness epidemic. This is exactly the problem. They don't think that far ahead. Desperate men don't think 10 years down the road. They don't look at their decisions and project out how it's going to play out. They only look at what they need and what they want, and they're only thinking of the here and the now. They'll take it day by day. So you're a man who is taking it day by day, dealing with a female who is playing the long game. For some females, the game might be a year. For others, it might be a decade when you're chasing Jeff Bezos' bag. And there you go. So the males are being seduced into thinking that everyone is equally as invested as you are. And that if you're dealing in good faith, everyone else is going to deal in good faith. And then so you just extend yourself out there on that limb and you jump out there. And next thing you know, you feel betrayed because the exact same cheering that they did to get you to accept her offer, next thing you know, those same people will be cheering her on. The same folks who cheered her on to marry you will be the exact same people in the exact same comment sections on the exact same websites cheering her when she says, I don't need him. I don't need him, and I'm getting divorced, and I'm going to find myself. Those will be the exact same ones. And that brings me to tonight's subject matter with one Miss Tia Mowry, who has become a poster girl of sorts for this kind of thing. I want to show you the 2 latest posts on her Instagram. And boy, oh boy, to anybody out there who was living under any illusions or delusions about exactly what her true character and motives are, about how she really feels, if you were stupid enough and dumb enough to fall for the, well, maybe she changed for you differently, man. You take a look at her latest Instagram post here. I'm going to read through this one by one. It hasn't even been up 24 hours, so this is really fresh off the presses. They told me I wasn't valuable anymore because I'm 46 and divorced. Lie. That's not what people said. That's not what we said, Tia. We didn't say that you're not valuable anymore. Nobody said that you've lost your value. What we've said is you have lost value. Oh, your value hasn't depreciated to zero. But baby, the MSRP is not the valuation anymore. That's what we're saying. And that's what you're taking offense at. You're taking offense at that part. So if we say that you've taken a 50% depreciation hit, she's mortally offended because as a woman, she understands you call all the shots when you're at 100% MSRP. They love it. It becomes a life-altering drug. And if that MSRP drops at all, they lose huge amounts of power and influence, especially among the men that they actually desire. So the offense she's taking is to being told you have lost a lot of your value. Nobody said that you have no value. Lying about what we said isn't going to change the truth. Nobody said you've lost all your value, but yeah, you've depreciated. You sure have. There's been a hit. There's been a substantial, major hit. So trying to talk it up and change the characteristics of it isn't going to change that. She said, for a long time, I believed my value came from being in a relationship. Oh, well, you see where this is going. All the simple Simons and idiots out there who told themselves that it wasn't as bad as Jason said it was. Hold this L, dummy. Being chosen, being picked, that somehow love from someone else defined who I was. Well, isn't that interesting? When it's time for them to get married, they don't talk like this. You never see words or sentences like this when they're pushing a man down the aisle to the altar or when they're first talking about they got married. You never see things like this. It's only when they go to the second phase that all of a sudden you start seeing this. Divorce forced me to ask, what does Tia want? Was there any point in your life where you haven't been all about Tia Mowry? When have you never focused on yourself? Your whole life. When have you not been focused on Tia? When you've been with someone for over 20 years, it's easy to forget you are who you are outside of that relationship, outside that partnership. All the code words, people. Me, myself, what do I want? Partnership. I realized how much of my worth I tied to being validated by a man. Damn! Society teaches us that. From fairy tales to tradition, we're told we're only valuable when someone picks us. They never talk like this when it's time to get married. When the fella proposes, she didn't talk like this when he wanted to propose. It's only later that the other shoe drops. And of course, Corey overlooked all the obvious narcissistic warning signs. But in the case, by the way, ain't she now looking like Tracy Ellis Ross? Isn't she looking like Tracy Ellis Ross now?
Oh, please.
Okay, all the dummies out there who want to jump in with all 4 feet. Bug-eyed and everything else, she looks like Tracy Ellis Ross. They could be sister. After my divorce, I saw how people, specifically toxic, misogynistic men, look down on me as if I wasn't valuable anymore because I have kids, because I'm not in my 20s,
Auntie, chill.
because I'm divorced. That narrative, it's cruel and it's false. But I had to unlearn that. I am not less than because I'm single. I'm not damaged because I'm divorced. And I am not unworthy because I'm a mom. Yes, I want love, but I'm no longer chasing it to fill a void. I'm choosing me first because that's where my peace lives. Fellas, if you talk to a female who says that phrase, my peace, nigga, run. If you attach yourself to a female who uses the phrase, my peace, if you attach yourself to a female who uses the phrase, my peace, just understand you are setting yourself up for a lifetime, a complete lifetime of misery. That is a code. That is a code word. That is a phrase that is used by narcissistic females who she sees the relationship as you serving her. If I'm telling the truth about that, give me the alarm clock emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. There's over 1,600 people in here live right now. But if I'm telling the truth tonight, give me the alarm clock emoji in the chat room. That most of you didn't have fathers or men who told you words to look out for, or maybe the lexicon of warning phrases that you're referring to is obsolete and aged out. This right here, I'm telling you, this is not a game. It's not a joke. I am not being facetious. Look it up. I am not kidding. If a female uses the phrase, my peace, just understand, as far as she is concerned, any quote unquote relationship with you is a vehicle for serving whatever temporary desires she's entertaining at the moment. And she is going to expect you to submit to whatever she says. Otherwise, you're the problem because you are threatening and damaging her peace. So if you don't accept every bit of abuse, every bit of narcissism, every bit of exploitation, if you don't pander and cater to her at every moment, anything that she doesn't like, she will say that that is abuse and that you have violated and destroyed her peace. And now anything she does, anything that she does to you, she is now justified in doing because her peace is more valuable than your peace of mind. So she can now cheat on you, beat on you, have kids outside the relationship, outside of the marriage. She can steal money from you. She can divorce you because, well, I'm just not happy anymore. I'm not happy anymore. She just gets up one day. She's been planning it for a while, but she gets up one day and drops the hammer on you. I'm justified in destroying everything here because my peace. That's my How do you justify destroying the whole damn family? My peace. My peace. And she can define her peace, quote, peace, as anything she wants it to be. But I promise you that her version of her peace does not include anything that pleases you or makes you happy. Her peace is all about what you need to do to cater to her. Her peace has nothing to do, zero. It will never involve anything that she's obligated to you. She doesn't get peace from anything involving you. Anything you need, that doesn't bring her peace. Now, when you wanted to marry her, she told you that pleasing you brought her peace. When she ready to bounce, it's going to be exactly the opposite. Pleasing you makes her miserable, makes her sad. Pleasing you makes her feel conflicted and less than. That's what she's going to say on the other side, and that's what Tia is saying now. I've done the work.
Oh, please.
Did you all see her do any work? I missed it. What was the work that she did? What work? What work? I've cried. That's not work. I've healed. I can't tell. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like my soul is finally back in my body. I'm no longer floating, disconnected, or trying to survive. Now I'm aligned, mind, body, and soul, and it feels so good. Fellas, men, look, I know how it is. You get some of that psycho high yellow craziness in bed. Fellas, I understand. I get it. You get some of that psycho mixed chick thing. She's wild-eyed, mentally and emotionally imbalanced. And it's like, when she gets you in the bed, it's like fighting with an 8-armed gorilla. Damn! She's turning you every which way but loose. All the stuff that other chicks are shy about, she is like, nigga, hold my beer. Oh, she's doing everything without you even asking. And of course, you didn't ask the most important question. How the hell did you learn to do that? That's the question men never ask. Men never ask, by the way, how the hell did you learn how to do that? Who showed you that? So I understand how it is, fellas. I get it. I know. When chicks talk like this, this is what they talk like when y'all are not in bed, though. This is the problem. This right here is how they talk when y'all are not in bed. They talk like this, and this is the real thing. No, I'm serious. Have you ever thought that some of that XXX rated crazy, outrageously vigorous sex was because she hates you? What? Men don't think about that. Have you ever thought that she is so animated and so vivacious and so tenacious in bed because she doesn't like men? That it's an act of aggression? Have you ever thought that that's where she's sourcing that from? That she doesn't see sex as something that she does with you. She sees it as something she's doing to you. And that she is savoring the day that she's going to have the opportunity to turn this on you. And that she's going to have a chance to show you the other side of the coin. Have you, fellas, to the men listening live or recorded, have you ever thought that these women love you because they hate you?
And deal with it, nigga.
This is a bit of a foreign concept. Have you ever thought that they want to be close to you because they want to destroy you? Has that ever crossed your mind? Have you considered that to them, they talk about men using sex as a weapon of hostility? Have you ever thought that the women like her the same way? She doesn't really like you. Being in bed with you is a way of making love to that which you want to destroy. And that's classic Freud. She wants to be close to you because she wants to destroy every part of you. Because she needs to blame somebody for her lack of peace. And after she's destroyed you, she wants to move on to the next one. Take a look at how she made this indictment of all men. Take a look at this woman is so healed that she puts up a 9-post Instagram post, 9 slides to tell you about the problem is the men that she's not even in a relationship with. She's showing you her hostility towards men in general. Folks not liking the program tonight, I'm hurting a lot of feelings. I understand. It can be difficult, so probably going to see about wrapping this up in a moment. But a lot of fellas do not understand it and don't see it. They have to wait till something like this happens. They have to wait till she gets her hooks and her claws way deep up in you. And then by then it's too damn late. You've married her. She's got the kids. Now she can just punish you whenever she chooses. She can just punish you whenever she likes. That's what she's here for. And she enjoys this part of it. So the whole point of having sex with you and having kids with you is so that she has somebody to punch on and beat on. She says, so let's change the narrative. Being single doesn't mean I'm lacking. You're lacking a man. It means I'm learning, growing, and thriving. I don't need to be chosen to feel validated. I am not expired. I am not too much. I am powerful, whole, enough. And baby, I'm still pressure. Love, Tia. This is called manifesting. If you already had this, you wouldn't have to say it. It would be self-evident. If you have to tell us that you're pressure, it's 'cause you ain't. If you have to tell us you're not expired, you probably are. If you have to tell us you don't need to be chosen, then you do. If you have to tell us that you're not lacking, you ain't just living it, then you're lacking. You can't talk your way into success, baby. You either got it or you don't. That's the way that works. Now, I want to show you all something else. This is another video that she did.
We're back together. What goes down in the DM?
Lightskinned Chicks and that howl. Oh, to all my mixed chicks out there, ladies, stop this. This is the surest sign of mental and emotional imbalance. There ain't nothing cool about this. Oh, that Kamala Harris cackle that light-skinned chicks do. Oh, the mixed girls with the cackle. Yeah, y'all, this is why men want to quickly move things to the bedroom, and you all have to be experts in bed because, yeah, this is what they got to tolerate the rest of the time. It's like, oh, hell no. Hurry up and get naked. Oh, you know I love you, baby. Hurry up and get naked, damn it. This will stop her from cackling. Or at least if she gonna cackle, she's doing something useful while she's doing it. But yeah, to the light-skinned chicks, that damn cackle. Oh boy, nothing says mentally and emotionally imbalanced like imitating the Joker from Batman. Yeah.
Would you marry me if you knew me well? What the hell? What the hellianti? Are you interested in younger men like myself? How young we talking? Do you know how old I am? I'm very flattered. Not you outside again. I thought y'all were back together. Let's normalize co-parenting in a healthy way. Things don't always have to be toxic. But yeah, I'm outside. I'm in my bedroom. I'm inside. I just think you're absolutely amazing. You display so much grace, and beautiful doesn't even begin to describe you. I know DMs aren't the way, laugh out loud, but I just had to say it. I think that's cute. That's like a nice way to slide into a DM. This is
all the fellas who wants to line up for this damn cornball. Where are the fellas at who want to line up for this cornball? Where you at, dudes? Who wants to be next at bat for this, to line up for this cornball? There's got to be some of you fellas out there. It's okay, I understand you've been in the dry. There's got to be an easier way. Got to be a better way. All right. I went through all of that because I wanted to make a point. She's making a whole video about the DMs that she gets. She's making a whole video about the DMs that she gets. What is she trying to tell you? There are men who still want her. She's trying to tell you that there are men who still want her. What are they offering? What are they offering besides the same thing that any man would offer you? What are they offering? I want to go back to this one here in particular because this first one I showed you all, which is her latest, I want to show you the problem between this one and the other one. The comments. These are the comments that she gets. These are the messages that she receives. She receives this fire hose on a daily basis. Most celebrities don't even look at their DMs. She is actively browsing hers. And what I'm saying is, remember I told you all last week, women believe that whatever happens on social media is real. If social media says what they want to hear, they believe that's real. They only doubt it if the majority of social media tells them that they're wrong. Notice, she was referencing what she was hearing. She was referencing what she was hearing. I saw how people, especially toxic, misogynistic men, looked down on me. So when the majority of the feedback was negative, she believed it. When the majority of the feedback is positive, she believes that. But when the majority of the feedback came back negative, that was the only thing that made an impression. Fellas, your woman is the same way. As long as the majority of the feedback is positive, she figures this is the right thing to do. Even if it means lying to you, leaving you, taking the kids, this must be the right thing. Look at all the likes I'm getting. Look at all the comments I'm getting. This is the right thing to do. If everything comes back negative, oh, this is wrong. Let me think about this again. But the other thing here is the comments. Now, you heard the comments, the stuff she's getting in her DMs. But take a look at these. Whoever in the world Kashul is, all right. Wow, wow, wow. Waiting to talk about cornballs. Waiting for you to put all of your life wisdom into a book or podcast of your own.
Oh, please.
Really? Did you all... Was this really profound to the rest of you? Did the rest of you find this to be especially profound that it needs to have its own book? Apparently this woman here thinks this is worthy of its own book, what you saw. This chick here, given all crowns, this chick here. Hello, Kenya Moore. All right. Kenya used to be a dime too. Love you, sis. You are amazing and definitely still pressure. All these aged out chicks. All right, all these post-expiration chicks. No disrespect. I've always loved Kenya. Kenya is 54.
Damn!
Kenya is 54. Somebody in the chat says she's still pressure, high blood pressure.
Nigga, please.
Kenya is 54. 54. She was a Miss USA winner. She was a Miss USA winner. No wonder you can't tell her anything after that. After that, as far as she's concerned, this is a lifetime pass. I am princess. I've done everything I got to do. I don't have to do anything else. Certainly not be respectful, and I don't have to do any of that. Not required. Anik, whoever the hell this is. Love this, and that soul back in your body quote is real. Accurate description of what depression can feel like. Glad you're in a new season of being a full you. Sherry Shepherd, cause yeah. You gave yourselves how many abortions? You gave yourself space and time to heal. Now let's put the kids to bed and hit these streets. These are the comments from other women with check marks. No wonder Sherry ended up with how many abortions? Let's put the kids to bed and hit these streets. These are the folk that she's listening to. Yes, yes. I guess it's supposed to be yes, Tia. Words of wise through lived experience. Okay, English is clearly not her first language. I love this and I love you. Yes, ma'am. Kelly Carter. I don't know who Kelly Carter is, but she has a check mark. Girl, you are better than ever. So proud of you. Keep shining, my lover. Lover? Y'all, come on now. Y'all can't just pat another woman on the back. All this Isla Lesbos stuff. What in the world? Love offering, 40,000 views. 40,000 followers. Come on, Tia. Change the narrative. Love it. Tatiana Merritt. Love this. You're everything and more. Love you, girl. Dr. Bryant. Oh, there's Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. Doctor, I put doctor in quotations because the jury is still out. We're still trying to figure out doctor of what. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant says, Tia, yes, talk to us, sis. So this woman who says she's a doctor somewhere, never gets tired of giving her opinion everywhere, is telling you that this deep, fat, fried pumpkin pie psychobabble that you read over here, that this is, talk to us, that like this is really profound. All you morons who took her seriously talking to Cam Newton, all I can say is hopefully your IQ has risen enough points that this doesn't repeat itself. I'm not optimistic. Smiley faces with the heart eyes emojis, fire and heart emojis. Do you see this? Kashul. Okay, that's repeating it. I hate Instagram does that, but she's sitting up here getting a flood of people just reinforcing this, reinforcing it. Big pressure. Who is Callie? Okay. Big pressure. You talking about Tia or yourself, ma'am? All right, preach it. Say it louder for those in the back. Pressure indeed. I love this. I get chills. Probably around other men. Still pressure. And there's a simple point that I'm trying to make right now. To everyone listening, specifically to the men who are listening, there's a point that I'm trying to make it right now. This is the reason right here in comment sections why we cannot get women to change. It's a futile effort. Focus on you. You cannot change when you have an environment that does this. Constant reinforcement of whatever they want to believe about themselves. Just take a look at this absolute avalanche of messages from random people and well-known celebrities bloating her ego to gruesome proportions. Do you think that she's actually accepting any negative input about herself from any source whatsoever when she has all of this conflicting information coming at her from desperate dudes and luckless ladies and washed up celebrities? Do you think she's going to listen to any negative input whatsoever? Do you think that she hears anything negative when she's like, okay, I heard you all negative. Now she has a source that, oh, all these yes men and mostly yes women reinforcing whatever she wants to believe. You think you're going to make an impression on this when she has a place to go where she can just turn up the volume to this crazy level? And I'm making the point tonight that this is where she is after the divorce. Remember at the beginning of the program here when I was talking about Laura Sanchez. And I said, take a look at the way that people are cheering Jeff Bezos on for his own destruction. Look at how they're cheering for him. And I said that will be the exact same energy that they will have at the divorce. Whatever it is that she wants, people are going to cheer for it. If she wants to marry you, they're going to say, yes, girl. If she wants to divorce you, they're going to say, yes, queen. All the same people cheering you at the altar will be the same people cheering her in divorce court, clapping for her. All the people who say she did the right thing by marrying you will be all of the people cheering her and congratulating her on divorcing you. This is where we are today. And my point is, it isn't just Jeff Bezos. This is where men today get it wrong. This is the culture. This is the culture today. This is why you are a world-class trophy-winning moron if you fall for this. If you fall for social media as validation. Because the same folks pretending to congratulate you will be the same people sincerely congratulating you for being destroyed and ruined. Let me jump over here right quick. Take a look at all these fellas in the DMs, and here's my point. They were never out of it. What? They were always there. They were always there. They were there the whole time. This is the way it works. When you have a female who constantly wants attention, her DMs never get cut off. She's going to demand to stay on social media because she's going to demand to have that constant supply of attention and validation. But most importantly, she wants to have the feeling of reassurance that at any time that she wants to cut you off, she's already got a soft place to land. She doesn't want to be guessing if that's what she's got. She wants to know she has it already. And take a look at the absolutely endless list of shameless sapsuckers out there who, hey, I heard you were single, heard you was available. Now, do you notice what the men... Now, Tia, I hate to lay these negative vibes on you, ma'am, but I got to do it. Do you notice what these men are not talking about, Tia? Nor are any of the people in your comment section talking about it. They're not talking about your kids. Did you notice that? Hey, Tia. Yeah. They're not talking about marriage, but the reason why that's relevant is because they're not talking about your kids. They're not talking about your kids, Tia. They're not saying a word about your children. Ain't nobody trying to make a permanent commitment. Nobody's trying to be Corey Hardrick II. Nobody's trying to finish what he started. Baby Russell Wilson II ain't out there orbiting the airport waiting for permission to land. You're getting the same messages that you've always gotten. They're looking for the same thing that they were always getting. What they're not trying to do is step in and hold it down for you. They're not trying to do that. They're not trying to do that. That's the issue. Women like her, the reason why I'm bringing this up tonight is because I want the men to understand that you're in a culture today that the goal is to quote unquote use love, whatever you want to define that as. Now it's, hey, can we use this to destroy you? They are encouraging you to make permanent commitments that you will be legally obligated to and that you won't be allowed to walk backwards. And they're doing that, and they will all sit there cheering you and smiling and congratulating. And you're sitting there telling yourself, well, surely she won't walk this backwards, because take a look at all the positive validation that's being received. And you don't understand, dude. Whatever direction she wants to go in, she's going to get validated either which way. And when she decides to drop you, she's going to get cheered on for that. They're going to cheer her on for leaving. They're going to sit right there and tell her, girl, you sure is right. What you did was the right thing. They're going to sit there in comment sections. She will be able to wake up 24 hours a day, and there will be a bunch of new messages telling her that what she did is right. That choosing herself over her family, that's the correct thing to do. They're going to tell her that anything she says is right. And you sitting right there talking about, what the hell's wrong with you crazy people? She's talking about divorcing me and leaving the kids fatherless. And they're going to be sitting there like, that's right, nigga. So why are you putting stock in people encouraging you to make decisions like this? That's the question I'm asking. We have so many desperate deadbeat males out here who just cannot live and cannot make it. They are just so damn codependent, and they are just easy lambs to the slaughter. And they're listening to the exact same social media posts and websites and everything else. You're listening to all the people on your Facebook and all the folks on your Instagram, all those people. And don't you understand? These folks can't stand you. The dude sitting up there on your woman's post, congratulating and clapping, those are the same dudes still in her DMs, constantly congratulating her for the great relationship that she's in. They never left. They never left. And she never stopped it. They're sitting here telling you how great this decision is to give up all your power, all your leverage, all your abilities. Just abandon all of that. Everything's great. Everything's fine. And if she gets up in 5 years and then cuts the cord, they're going to come and say that she was in the right. And that divorcing you is the right thing. Did you all notice there's nobody arguing that she's wrong? No one saying you need to go back to your husband. Nobody saying, baby, you too old to be trying to thought wise. Nobody's saying that. They're just saying, yes, girl, you so straight, you so wonderful. A bunch of females. A bunch of other females who are also sitting out here unpicked, unchosen, unwanted, not by the men that they want. Not by the men that they actually want to be with. Not by any of them. We have a society today that is united around its universal goal of saying, hey, fellas, let us entice you and coerce you and encourage you to do everything that will destroy you. We're going to tell you on the front end, don't you know how valuable you are? You're only valuable if she wants you. They're going to tell you that this is all great. Damn the consequences. Don't listen to the rest of these folks. They just haters. The problem isn't them. The problem is the society. That's what they tell you. And then you take a look up and you see things like this. Then you take a look up and you see things like, yes, this. You see, this is what happens when they're done. When they're done, this is what you end up with right here. I'm 49, childless, and haven't had sex for 5 years. Now, yes, I understand that this is the Telegraph, but this attitude is worldwide. This is worldwide. She's letting you know I am 41. I'm 49 years old. No sex, no man, no nothing. No sex, no children. And never been happier. While they are encouraging men at literally every step along the way, everybody is seeing that bogus ass post talking about men live longer when you're married. You're richer when you're married. So all this pressure is being applied to men. You got to marry. You need to hurry up and marry. You need to go ahead and be married. Go ahead and do that. Give up everything you got. Give up everything you got. you need to do that. And then after you've jumped out there on faith, after you've done that, then they're going to pull the rug out from under you and say, oh, well, that's what you get. It was a great idea for you to marry them, and it's also a great idea for them to punish you. I'm going to read to you briefly some of what this article has to say here, because I want you to see what the attitude is if you believe you're indispensable, because you're going to make a choice that you can't walk backwards voluntarily if she doesn't allow you to. She said, I never intended to be unmarried, single, celibate, and childless at 49. But don't pity me. I'm really rather smug about it. Though we who haven't procreated do prefer the term child-free, please. Get the hell out of here. Throughout my 20s and 30s, there were plenty of lovely boyfriends, some of whom I lived with, and who would have gladly walked me down the aisle. Lie. I enjoyed plenty of romps. Oh, I bet you did.
Oh, please.
I've enjoyed plenty of romps, getting romped, and romances over the years, too. Sex is great. It's just something I haven't done since my last serious relationship ended in 2017. Bar a very brief fling 5 years ago, and you know what? I don't miss any of it, because this isn't a sob story. It's the opposite. As I approach my half-century birthday next year, I've honestly never been happier and more fulfilled. Of course, I haven't always felt this way. Growing up in Dorset, sandwiched between a big sister and younger brother in a loving nuclear family, I always assumed I'd grow up, settle down, and pop out 2.4 kids, as women do. In my 20s, that was the path I was on. After studying in Oxford and graduating with a psychology degree, I was trying to work out what career path to take and going out in London with boys and partying with friends. So far, so normal. Then in my 30s, I landed my dream job in the production team at Radio 2. By then, friends' weddings dominated my summers. I remember standing in those church pews next to my then boyfriends, surrounded by flowers and frenzied excitement, feeling only a sense of dread. Instinctively, I knew this wasn't for me. Yet I never shared that with anyone else, because that meant I was weird, surely. By my late 30s, babies were everywhere. My older sister had reproduced aged just 28, and while I passionately adored my nephew, along with the 3 other nephews and 1 niece, my nibblings that followed, feelings of broodiness were alien. That famous biological longing, not me, at least not then, more on that later. Despite being in my late 30s, the time when women's biological clocks are supposed to be ticking loudly, I'd break up with boyfriends, never feeling it was worth being with a man simply to procreate. Just the idea of it made me feel claustrophobic. Well, that's not supposed to be the point, ma'am, but what she's saying is that these men didn't really want her, so that she could get pregnant, but she couldn't get a man to commit. So not the one she actually wanted. I then dated a guy for 2 years. In what was my last and perhaps final ever relationship, which ended when I was 41. Baby, the dating market ended you. You didn't end the dating market. Looking back, I realized this was my last window to have children. But at that time, I just wanted out. Fellas, if you get with a mentally whacked out female, you get with some imbalanced heifer like that, tragedy and hardship is all that can follow. So these fellas, I'm pretty sure she had some abortions in there. But the fellas who didn't marry her and didn't have kids with her, yeah, they dodged that bullet. It wasn't a healthy relationship for either of us, and babies weren't on the agenda. It was a difficult time in my life, and I just wanted to change. I needed a new career. I wanted out of relationships. So I jacked in my job and even had a short-lived stint as a trainee detective in the Met. I hated it. So she just bounces around places. In the end, I trained as a barista so I could keep the cash coming in. For those of you who don't know, ugly baristas don't get paid, so yeah. I felt such a weight had been lifted, having no partner and a job as opposed to a career. Meanwhile, my WhatsApp groups were full of friends moaning about being holed up with annoying husbands and being landed with the kid men. Much of the chat was about petty domestic arguments, the boredom and the stress of raising children. Scrolling through these messages as I sat outside my flat in Richmond on a beautiful sunny afternoon, I vividly remember thinking, I am so glad I don't have to deal with any of this. For the first time, I realized I wasn't lacking anything. I was the one free of all this. That remains one of the most powerful realizations of my life. From that moment, I chose to take back control of my life. People, it always comes down to this narcissistic catchphrase that they use. Peace, control. It's all about dominance and selfishness. So that they've got a phrase that they use that all means the same thing. It's about me, I. There wasn't even a man. There wasn't even a husband in her life. She's claiming that she needed to, quote, take back control. So the point I'm making to men is that, by the way, that take back control, my peace thing, they can use that whether there's a man in the picture or whether there's no man around anywhere. These phrases, the significance of them is all about the person using it. It'll be used against you, but there's nothing you can do to fight it because this isn't for you or about you. This is about them getting what they want. And even if there's no man around, they'll claim they still need to take back something. They need to take something back. There's nobody depriving her. There's no man withholding anything from her, and yet being single and childless, she still says, I need to take back control of my life. I chose to take back control of my life and start living it on my own terms rather than the patriarchal expectation of me.
Oh, please.
By then, I'd been single for several years and had no desire to download a dating app. Baby, this is the reason you single. She's talking as if she made a choice. No, there are no men of any value who are looking to take on some whacked out psycho feminist. That's why all them romps you had, dudes was like, look here, let me see what you do naked and then let me see you leave. She's the chick, she texts dudes, they don't really text back. With all this overwhelming hostility, yeah, baby, it's the men who put you down. The men, you're not done with men, the men are done with you. They've been done for decades. And what you're showing us now is why that happened. I had no desire to download a dating app. I never have and never will. Instead, I buried myself in books about personal growth and development. Don't roll your eyes until you've tried it. I went in search of the real me, and guess what? I liked who I found. People, you know, bookstores didn't used to have a section called personal growth and development. And the only people in the, quote, personal growth and development section are females looking to validate and rationalize stupid decisions. Because there's some idiotic writer out there somewhere who knows women will buy it. They will buy it in droves. They will buy it by the cartful. Men, women, black, white, American, foreign, doesn't matter where the writer is from. If she's a female, and there's a part of her that will buy this. And we will call whatever is going on in your life right now, why this isn't failure. You haven't failed, Tia Mowry. Why, you're growing. Take a look up there at the top right there. Take a look at the top right. What's the first one say? Being single doesn't mean I'm lacking. It means I'm learning, growing, and thriving. Being single doesn't mean I'm lacking. It means I'm learning, growing, and thriving. Sound familiar? Yeah, this is the stump speech. This is the stump speech. This is what you're told all the time. And what I'm saying is that, do you realize there's an endless parade of chicks like this anywhere you go on the planet who are telling the woman that you are with, they're not telling her, stop what she's doing, that she's wrong and out of line. They're not saying that. They're saying 2 thumbs up. They're telling her you're right for this. They're telling every female, it doesn't matter what conclusion you come to, whatever conclusion you come to is the right one. And so if you tell that man that you can't live without him today, that's legit. And if you wake up in a week and say, I can't do this anymore, that's legit too. And you've got men out here walking like a damn duck or like a chicken off into these situations without having any sort of honest, candid conversation with anybody about what exactly is it that you're walking into. What exactly is it that you're agreeing to? Are you being honest about the fact that they are going to use your, quote, love, or whatever the hell you think it is, and now it is the trend and it is in vogue to destroy you? And they will have an endless parade of people in their comment sections cheering them on because they did it. The exact same people, and this is the great betrayal, it is the exact same people who talked your goofy ass into walking down the aisle with her. Those would be the exact same people popping up in her DMs to tell you that she was right to leave. For any reason. It doesn't matter what the reason is. They are going to sit there and cheer her on and say, whatever it is you chose to do, however it is you chose to do it, this was the right thing. It doesn't matter if it decimates him. It doesn't matter what it destroys. The same folk who are sitting there cheering you for walking into this will be standing right there when it's over, cheering her for destroying you. That's what people are not connecting the damn dots about. The same energy that cheered you to walk into this, they'll bring that same energy when she says, I'm going to run his ass through the ringer. I don't want this anymore. I'm done. Who cares if he was making a lifelong commitment? I wasn't. And I reserve the right to get up and walk anytime I want to, for any reason that I want to, or no reason at all. Now, for men, you'll be demonized, you will be lambasted, you will be insulted, you'll be absolutely excoriated for doing it. If a man says, I'm leaving because I'm not happy, they tell you, she got kids, they tell you you're wrong. If you two have children and you say that you want to leave simply because you're not happy, they are going to tell you about your responsibilities. You ain't a real man. What about the children? They are not sitting in these women's comment sections saying you're not a real woman. What about your responsibilities? What about the children? They're not doing that. They're telling her whatever breaks, you got a right to break it. Whatever it is. However, you might disagree. Therefore, the link to the Zoom It's pinned to the top of the chat room here. It's pinned to the top of the chat room. You have a bunch of folks who are being marched off into things. You have a bunch of people being marched off into things. You have a bunch of folk being marched off into stuff. Everyone is encouraging men to do every candy-coated flavor of stupid, self-destructive behavior. They're encouraging you to make permanent commitments. And the culture today is, hey, how can I destroy you? Everybody is calculated. How can we get men to destroy themselves and be proud to do so? Let me give you a pat on the back for doing it. Let me pat you on the back and tell you what a great job that this is for it happening to you. So when I see Jeff Bezos now proving that he learned absolutely nothing from his experience with McKinsey, he learned not a thing. Nothing. And he's not the only one. Right now, we have an epidemic of males who are sitting up here doing anything and everything. They're just looking for a chick to be with. The fellas today are the ones looking to get wifed up, not the women. And yes, I said it the way I meant it. The fellas are looking to get wifed up. And they are sitting here looking at walking disasters and disregarding every warning sign, bucked eyes, tattoos, crazy sexual histories, narcissistic tendencies, self-conceited vocabularies. Telling you gotta do 10 times more than the previous dude did. The previous 5 dudes did. You have to do 10 times more to get 10 times less. And this is where we're at. Let me go ahead and jump over here on Zoom. See if I can get over here on Zoom. And like I say, you're welcome to give us a call there. All right, I got Ambrosia here on Zoom. What's on your mind, Ambrosia?
Hi, Jason. How are you? Hold on. Let me make sure I can mute this television. It's obvious that she is trying to sell it and trying to convince everybody else, because if she was as confident as she, trying to make everybody to believe, she wouldn't have to go to the internet. She wouldn't have to say all these things. She would have, being a mother alone, have been a wife, being a mother, having a career, that alone should have let her know her value and her validation as a person. But the fact that she had to go and do all of this on the internet shows you just the amount of epic narcissism, that intention that she needs. There's no point of doing all of this. Who is she doing it for? Who is she trying to convince?
Well, she's trying to convince herself. And exactly. she's found a reliable place to get that reinforcement from. That's the important thing. She doesn't actually believe it in and of herself. If she was just talking to herself, she's seen enough negative reinforcement that she can no longer talk herself into it. So what she's doing is ginning up a situation. This is basically a dog whistle. This is all the lonely hoes. He say hoes! I damn sure did!
And deal with it, nigga.
All the lonely hoes, this is a dog whistle. This is why Sherry Shepherd and the rest of them coming out the woodwork. This is a dog whistle to the rest of them to say, hey, I need some backup. Hey, I need some support. Hey, I need some comforting. Hey, I need some validation. Hey, I need some likes. Hey, I need some cosigns. She put out the dog whistle for it, and they all came. So now she's like, well, yes, of course, I must. She's trying to talk herself into it, and she called backup to help reinforce it.
And all the ladies that are reinforcing it, this doctor lady, Kenya Moore, all these women are divorced. I don't know, how many women are in her comments that are married, but a majority of the women that are capping her on, these are all divorced women from failed relationships. They're all single mothers. Even you can tell in her the pictures of her, you can tell in her eyes that she's lying to herself. You don't see any glow. You don't see any joy. The smile doesn't even reach her eyes, and she is so narcissistic that she can't even see that.
Well, she doesn't need it anymore. The thing I'm warning about here tonight is that this is the progression. This is how it goes. We're going to jockey and buck for an elevation, and we're going to try to milk it for as much attention as we can get. And then when that runs out, we move on to the next step. Mm-hmm. So if you can't get any more attention for being married, well, then we can get attention for getting divorced. Now we're looking for a new product to sell.
Mm-hmm. She could have easily not even said anything and showed up with a man on her arms and been like, oh, if that's what y'all really thought, I'll show you what I can do. I don't have to tell you. I'll show it. Her actions alone have shown her that she doesn't believe it. Because if you don't need a man for validation, the last thing you're going to do is go to the internet and say, I don't need a man for validation, as I go to the internet for validation.
Well, here's the thing. They're not looking for a man anymore.
What? She's looking for a man.
No.
She's looking for a man.
No.
It's just no more on her.
No. I think you're describing what she needs, but they're not looking for a man anymore. They're looking to, because they failed at it. This is what they're articulating is acceptance. Your 5 stages of grief. Well, they're articulating acceptance. She has accepted, like the rest of them, that that's not an option. That's not an option. It's not going to happen. Deep down, she knows she doesn't have what it takes. She believes the men who said, yeah, all these negatives about her, because these are not the first time she's heard it. Not in her 40s. Yeah, she heard it when she was a teenager. You've always been oddball and stuff. The odds were always against you. Now she's at 46 years old, and it's like, yeah, they were right. So she is now saying, all right, screw you, man. I don't need you. She's not going to keep trying to go back out there. She's telling you, she's always been focused on me, I'm so great. She's now here to convince you that she's great without a man. That she's just great because she is. I am great simply because I'm right here. I am what makes me great. And that's what she said from the very beginning. That's why she's got a large audience co-signing. When you failed and you finally just flunked out of the grade altogether, now they're trying to, cope with each other and reinforce to each other that we're okay, destitute, and in solitude.
It's very sad. It's very sad. She never once talked about the joys of motherhood. My children validate me. The love that I have for them, servicing and being there for them, being the best mother, that I could possibly be for my children. That alone should be validation. But she's sitting on the internet in booty shorts in Indian style with her pocketbook out, reading DMs from dudes who can do nothing for her.
That's the whole point, though. When you sink into it, you sink into it completely. And what she's doing is leaning into it. That's what I'm saying. She needs a man, and she's going to get laid on top of. I'm pretty sure she's continuing getting laid on top of right now. But what she's not doing is going the next step. She's not going to the next step of putting it out there in a way that can either be validated one way or another, that you can prove you have that value. Because what she's acknowledging is that, she's not getting those results. She isn't getting those results. That's what's not happening. So she's conceding defeat, but she's trying to declare victory while doing it. So there's the real thing about what are those posts for? To declare victory, even though the results don't look very glamorous, is not. But she's got a bunch of people who will rally around you, and they will egg her on and tell her, you go, girl, you great. This is the glow up. So let me get this straight. It was the glow up when she got married. It was the glow up when she got divorced. Now it's the glow up that she's saying, I'm fine by myself.
And she's getting everything she asked for. She wanted to be married. She wanted to be a mother. And she left that. So now she had to get a divorce to even ask what she wanted. But if you wanted the marriage, why did you have to ask, what do you want after the divorce? It's a contradiction. You're getting everything that you want, and yet you're still not happy.
I disagree with that part there too. I'll come back to that in just a moment. What's really motivating these posts she's making right now? I'll tell you. Yeah, her and Corey then laid up, and Corey's not interested in trying to give her a second chance.
What?
Corey learned enough of his lesson. He learned enough of that he doesn't trust her anymore. After what she did, I've graduated from marriage. She's like, well, Heifer, you about to get your PhD in lonely.
And that's the thing. That's what it really is. She's lonely. And there's nothing wrong with admitting that you are lonely. And the people that she has surrounding her, if they were truly her friends, they would say, hey, I get that you are lonely. I get that you've made some mistakes, but there are some serious character flaws here that you need to fix. It's all me. I've never once has she said anything about us or anything that showed that she's not self-serving. Nothing. And no one is saying anything to her. How can you evolve as a person? How can you even evolve as a woman if your actions aren't being corrected, or if you can't even be told that your actions need to be corrected?
And that's why I'm saying when you said that she's not happy, I disagree with that. Because as I was explaining last week, there's a reason why you have the term dysfunction. Dysfunction has nothing to do with quote unquote happiness. Just because something is suboptimal or broken in its operation does not mean it's not functional. Now, yeah, it's going to be a lot harder to use than you would desire, I imagine. But that doesn't mean it's not functional. That doesn't mean it's not. And right now, I'm telling you that this is all about the joy of heartache. Why do you think we have Munchausen syndrome?
For attention.
And by the way, Munchausen is practically exclusively a female dynamic. Yikes.
Yes.
It's data, folks. This is data. Munchausen is practically exclusively a female dynamic. Why is that? Because women are, it doesn't matter whether the attention is, quote, positive or negative. When you've leaned into it, it doesn't matter whether it's positive or negative. It matters if you get it.
Yes.
And right now, as long as you can keep the spotlight on her, it doesn't matter whether they're smiling or crying, just so long as you're looking at her. And I submit to you that that has become her new source of satisfaction. I didn't say happiness, but she'll be satisfied and we'll call it happiness. Because that's what she really wants. If she reconciles with Corey, which Corey clearly is not interested in doing, but if she did, then she would swear to you how great and wonderful she is. I submit to you that she took such a huge public relations hit. She took such a huge one that she's been trying to prove it's not true ever since. This is what happened with Ciara. This is what happened with Megan Good. All these females who found themselves single, with kids, or losing some of their earlier glow. And all of them stood up there and said, oh man, let me go get somebody so I can disprove this. That's what they've been trying to do. They've been trying to demonstrate that that's not a real thing. That's what they've been trying to prove. And Tia has been absorbing a bunch of body blows ever since she got divorced. And that's what it is. Folks in the chat room keep mentioning Lala. Rumor has it that she might, folks have to say that they're wondering if she's entertaining the company of some guy who owns a couple of burger restaurants up there in New York. And shout out to the brother, you know, if he's successful in the restaurant business in New York, more power to him. That's great. That's wonderful. He's not Carmelo Anthony.
And deal with it.
Shout out to the brother. Big props to you. I think that's great. I think that's wonderful. I don't think that Lala is going to be happy with that at all. Now, he's where she ranks right now. Actually, he's well above her pay grade right now. He's way out of her league. You're never going to convince her that. And what I'm saying is that even though that's the reality, even though that's the reality of it, she's still not going to be happy with that. How do you go from Carmelo to this? Well, Jason, what's the problem with it? Everybody knew Carmelo Anthony. Everybody knew who he was. She's with somebody who's got status. He's got power. He literally rubs elbows with LeBron James. Literally. Now she's got to be with a fella who, congratulations to him to what he's done. I think it is exemplary. But he doesn't have any name recognition. Nobody knows his name to say that's going to boost his profile or whatever. And that's what she's looking for. She's looking for a man that she can look up to. And if people say his name and nobody responds, they're like, who's that? She feels that. Every time she says she's with somebody and nobody else knows who it is, unless your customers at his restaurant, they don't know. That hurts. That's not the way things were going to play out. She thought there was going to be another baller in the future. She thought there was going to be another contender. And there's not. It's not the way that works. That's not the way that works. There's not enough of them out there. There's a reason why I told you all, Lori Harvey, enjoy the glow up while you got it, because this ride's going to come to a disastrous end. Did I call it or did I call it?
And deal with it, nigga.
Definitely called it.
When's the last time you all heard about Lori Harvey? I said what was going to happen after Michael B. Jordan. I'm like, baby, I don't know where the hell you think. I don't know who the hell you think coming up. But whoever it is you think's coming up after Michael, it ain't going to be nowhere near him. Michael's on a mission. Everybody else who's on the wire or whatever, Michael's on a mission. And he's going for it. Hitting on all 8 cylinders. He's going for it. And it's working. We don't have a whole baker's dozen of Michaels. So if you don't like the one we got, that's it. You don't get anything. Well, she talking to Damson Idris. I'm like, baby, you're raising Damson's profile. Didn't we learn this with 21 Savage and Amber Rose?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who 21. Nobody knew really who 21 Savage was. He's running around with Amber Rose. Oh, that was great for his career. And as soon as that got played out, he's on to the next. So somebody who can use you for elevation, that's not what she wants. She wants somebody who raises her profile, not someone who's dependent on her to raise his. There's no way she can be happy or satisfied with that. Her ego will not accept it nor allow it. There's no way she can be happy or satisfied with it. She just can't be. And Tia is no different. Matter of fact, she's worse. She's not going to be happy with anybody. She wasn't happy with Corey. He wasn't accomplished enough, remember? She was on Sister, and we don't even know who you are. She wasn't happy with that. She's not going to be satisfied, so she's like, okay, if I would rather get attention going solo than have somebody around me standing in my spotlight. So yeah, and by the way, you're a female. You've had, chicks who they enjoy being miserable. Every time you damn her turn around, she and this dude always into it, or whatever the case may be. And she's right there. They love the drama of it. Females love drama. So when you say she's not happy, I'm like, take a look at all the drama she's ginning up for herself. She's a one-man soap opera. Of course she's happy with it. Now she doesn't have to share it with anybody.
So, Jason, I have a question for you. Do you think it was a smart move for Jonathan Majors and Megan Good to get married?
I think it was a smart move for Jonathan. I think it was a brilliant move for him, and I think it's about as good as Megan's going to get. So, in that regard, yeah, I really, really do. Because Jonathan got railroaded and things like that, and that was just 100% wrong. So, for Jonathan, that was a very good thing that happened for him at the time. And I think ultimately for Megan, it could be. It just depends. Whether she has the personality type to really, change some of these negative attitudes and behaviors she's had, I don't know about that. Now, that's the part I don't know about. I don't know about that. But as far as for Jonathan, yeah, Absolutely. For him. Now, what the future holds, I don't know. Or at least, I'll just be brutally frank. I think Jonathan is okay with Megan Good as long as he doesn't have anything. As long as Jonathan doesn't have anything, he'll be okay. If Jonathan ever gets this train back on the tracks, Megan Good will mind her manners as long as she's powerless. You give her power and the real thing comes out. And in his case, that's what I would be concerned about. Is if at any time she ever gained any power, influence, in her case, you're feeding a beast. And that beast is going to rear its head. And so, like I say, if he can get the train back on the tracks, which I hope he does, I'm rooting for him, absolutely. He gets the train back on the tracks, he'll have to keep an eye on her. I just worry about what she will be like with a permanent attachment to her. I've seen what she's done before. We all saw what she did before. It seems like she may not be happy unless the situation's got drama going on. So if things get settled, is she suddenly going to be like, I'm bored? Mm-hmm. Let me bring some excitement. And excitement means breaking up, divorce. It means that. So, like I say, they're happy with it. This is the environment that we're in today. We're in an environment where on social media, and the other thing is, women like to see that with Tia because it makes them feel better about their lives. They don't feel like they're so weird. They don't feel like they're so weird. Take a look. This happens to everybody. That's the part I'm talking about. Now, this is the natural progression and the message this sends to the average female in society. That's what I'm concerned about. The message it sends to them. We all saw the message that Ciara marrying Russell Wilson sent. Mm-hmm. Be as big of a hoe as you want to be. Get with the worst degenerate, thugged out pervert you can find. And that shouldn't affect a damn thing. And these chicks ain't nowhere near Ciara's league, but that's what they took away from that. I can do whatever I want to, run myself ragged, slut myself out, gutter myself out, and there will be a high-value man who's going to take me off the market. That does nothing to my value. And what is Tia telling you? After everything she's done, why, that doesn't have any impact on my value. Meanwhile, take a look at what all these men are saying. So this is the environment and what it does to the average person, because that's what the average male will have to deal with. The average male is not going to get near Tia, but what the message it sends to the rest of female society, that's the real problem.
Do you think reality will ever set in where they are concerned?
Reality is already set in. It's already set in. That's why she's talking the way she is now. This is the natural. I mean, I didn't mention Tracy Ellis Ross because I was bored. Take a look. Tracy was saying the same damn thing. All these chicks say the same thing when they've missed the last train leaving. All of them say the same thing. Because the truth of the matter is, the part that people that they dismiss about the last train leaving is that the reason why they had to wait till the last train leaving is because they didn't like any of the others. And they're not jumping on the last train leaving because they want it. They're jumping on it because it's the last one leaving. Now they're trying to comfort themselves sitting alone at the train station. This is where we are now. I didn't bring up the last train leaving as some sort of, buy a cat and die alone pressure tactic. That's just corny. And if the evidence has shown what I always said, hey, fellas, stop talking about the women going to die alone because that doesn't bother them. I'm bringing you all back to review this now that, hey, by the way, did I call it or did I call it? You're not threatening the females by telling them they're going to die alone. That doesn't threaten them. That doesn't scare them. You're not threatening them. You're not pressuring them. You're not getting them to see it your way. That didn't hurt anything, fellas. You could pass around all the old Instagram clips you want to. I told you then it wasn't going to do anything, and it didn't. Your slogan didn't do anything, just like I said it wouldn't. And now here you are with the female saying, well, you know what? I can be married for a little bit, have some kids, and then go off into my single psycho life. Now, never mind how weird and crazy and cringe and wacky you look. Never mind that, because there's a bunch of other broads who sit around you and they're crazy with looking and whacked out too, aged out the damn game, and all of you take each other into menopause. Shout out Halle Berry. So this is where you're at right now. You're not on your way. This is where we are now. They're piling up at the train station, having a miss the train celebration party. And
Just because they do have divorce parties. They actually do. So.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. For fellas out here, it's like, do you realize what a trap you're being led into? They're being led into a trap with people furiously congratulating them. And then when they're sitting around congratulating her for doing what she's going to do next, now you're looking stupid. And it was all sitting right there the whole time. We're not on our way to this as a society and culture. We are hip deep off in it today. We are already here. They are celebrating, coercing, and convincing men to agree to situations that destroy them for their entertainment, for their amusement, for their gratification. And there's an endless supply of people out there who love to see it. They love to see it because they made decisions and they want somebody to convince them that it was the right thing to do. Man, they are. I'll let you have the last word.
That's all I wanted to say. Thank you, Jason. Have a good night.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. We appreciate that. Yeah, they're not sad, bro. They're not sad. There's a bunch of you out there who didn't want to believe it. You wanted to believe that that was going to turn the tide, and you can turn the tide, but pressure tactics and shaming tactics don't work on females the way you wish it did. Being the anti-Oprah Winfrey isn't changing nothing. Telling women about their body counts, that's not what changes things. Getting men to change their behavior about it, that's what changes everything. But trying to shame the women, that doesn't do anything, man. There's not a single female, I told you that 4 years ago, 5 years ago, there is not a single female sitting around talking about, damn you, the way these people, we need to change how we doing it. Take a look at how unhappy the men's is. There are no females sitting around during their spare time offline telling other women we need to change the way we're doing things because the men aren't happy. The men don't approve. So anytime females sit up here and try to tell that lie that they're only doing this because the men want, I'm only wearing fake hair because the men want it, I'm only getting a BBL because the men want it, you're a bald-faced, bug-eyed lie. You do things all the time, not consciously, that you know men don't like. They only talk about that when they think they can tell that lie and get away with it, and then when somebody catches them in it, everything gets real quiet. But this is not on the way to being the culture. This is the culture now. Let me go ahead and see if we can get Jay up here on Zoom. Jay, what's on your mind?
Hey, Jason. I wanted to talk about, ask you about the Bezos situation. Because I kind of have a little bit of a different take on it. Do you think, he's been with her for the past 7 years. And do you think he's just kind of ready to cash her out anyway? And he's kind of like, well, look, you've had a good time for the last 7 years. You want this thing, let me just give it to you, basically as, because, she's, as in a sense of, look, you've earned this basically. Right. So if you divorce me, hey, I'll kick you off a few million or whatever, get the prenup set and kind of go up, about his business. So it's not like he just kind of rushed into it. So I'm just wondering if you've kind of considered, that possibility.
Okay, first of all, Jeff did rush into it. Remember, this is the mistress. Laura Sanchez is the woman that he was fooling around with behind Mackenzie's back. Laura Sanchez is the woman that we believe it was the Saudis, because Jeff kind of outed them, But the Saudis were upset because Jeff Bezos' paper was talking about Khashoggi and the assassination of him. And yeah, they were like, yeah, dude, if you don't stop all that, we hooked up with the Israelis. And we got a program called Pegasus that's hacked your phone, and we know all about your mistress. So you need to back up off of us applying all that pressure. Otherwise, your wife gonna find out what you really do in South America. You're not opening up a new Amazon warehouse, that's for damn certain. Jeff decided, okay, the game is up. Let me go ahead and just let everybody know what's going on. So he gets kudos for at least having that much manhood about him. But let's be clear. This is the woman that he was cheating on his wife with. Let that say whatever it does about both of their character. Now that that's been illuminated, this is the woman he was cheating on his wife with. And then he just hangs on to her. I submit to you that that wasn't slow rolling, and I submit to you that that was the hasty part.
Yeah, I mean, because you see this a lot, kind of like with Kevin Hart. The woman he's with now. He was cheating on her with his wife. I mean, with cheating on his previous wife with her, and he went ahead and married her. So I'm just kind of thinking, if you've been with someone for 7 years, and it's just kind of like my rule is this, whenever you want to spend money on a woman or take her out or whatever, you make sure that in your mind she's earned whatever you spent on her prior to that, right? So
okay, I don't even get that, brother. I don't even get that, brother. I don't understand. You're talking like we owe women something?
No, I mean, if she's provided a certain level of value, in other words.
Okay, but brother, what I'm saying is that if you provided me comfort yesterday, you were quote unquote rewarded for that yesterday. This idea that you've got some invisible bank of value that's accruing interest, which is what you're describing, that whatever she's done for you in the last 12 months, she has an additional 12 to 24 months of rewards to draw down from?
No, what I'm saying is it's sort of like if you go to work, you work for 24 hours and you get paid, right? Your employer has felt that you have provided 24 hours worth of value already, and then they pay you.
Right, but it's not, and the value that she receives is every minute that she's with one of the richest men in the world. She's getting that reward and value right then. What you're saying is, nope, we got to settle up this account. No, every time she walks in this room, that is the reward. You're talking as if the reward comes from somewhere else. And this is where men start valuing females way more than women value us. Women don't ever have conversations like this about men. I'm so glad you called in to say this, but women don't ever have this conversation about men. There's no group of women sitting around saying the phrase you just did. They don't talk about men as if it's compensation, like women owe us something for their time, or that women owe us for our time. Women don't talk like this ever, never. So what I'm saying is, what's the foundation and the basis of that? Well, if she was with him for 7 years, brother, she got the valuation of that over the last 7 years. And you're saying, okay, well, let's give her some more. Well, she's owed more because of the last 7 years. She's already been on the super yachts. He already bought her a big ass diamond. He's already bought her gifts. There's nothing more that she's owed. Unless you artificially place that on yourself. And that's a character defect if you do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm just kind of processing this. I just I wanted to throw that in the conversation because it seems like she just wants her party. It's like they really just want the wedding. She doesn't want to be a wife. She just wants the party, the validation, the show. So I think I really think he's just ready to cash her out anyway. And it's just like, look, let me just give you this and we'll have a clean break. And then he can just kind of go on. He's 61 years old, right? So he just can kind of go on and do whatever he wants. That's how I think it might play out. So I was just kind of throwing that out as kind of a possibility. Because if you got an airtight prenup, right, he's probably, break her off maybe 50 million or whatever, which is nothing for him. So, that's kind of the way I see this. It's just like an acquisition almost.
This is Laura Sanchez's second husband. This is Laura Sanchez's second husband. And this isn't the only man she's been with since then. Now, we all know. Why is Jason repeating that? Because we all know what the statistics say. So, brother, what I'm saying is you got to disregard a whole lot to be making the argument you're making. We all know what the statistics say about that. And Jeff was just like, okay, let me go ahead and let me throw my hat in the ring. And what I'm saying is that there are certain females who know certain men's heads get gassed up. Men who didn't really have to work for it as hard as they should have, or they're deficient looking for validation. And there are certain females who know how to cater to a man's ego. A young female generally doesn't know how to do that. She's all about herself and she's all about what she can get. And every time he shows up, she is expecting him to lavish her with gifts and attention. As a female gets older, she realizes that whole dynamic flips. Baby, you got to earn the right to be here. And so females in Laura Sanchez's place realize, yeah, I got to flip the dynamic. I have to be loving and attentive. I have to be presentable. Yeah, all that stuff that men really want. Yeah, you have to actually do it now. Now you got to actually do it. That's the only time they can do it. When they have to. And when they're younger and in their primes, screw you. But when they get older and the odds are against them, now all of a sudden, all that stuff you had to browbeat and beg for, all of a sudden is handed up on the silver platter. No argument, no issues, no nothing. Jeff Bezos is not marrying her because she gives him a hard time. He's marrying her because she's made things easy. To which I'm saying, by the way, how many other men has she been with at this point? I don't know. She has a track record to make it easy. What makes you so special and so different? You're an idiot if you think you are. You're not different. Unless you believe that people change as they get older. All right, tell yourself whatever. So the issue there, brother, is no, she's gotten her value for being there in the first place. Jeff is one of these lonely dudes. I mean, Jeff is trying to compensate for the last 30 years. Jeff Bezos, he doesn't get the shine and the regard that a, Steve Jobs or a, Jack Welch even. Some of these titans of industry, he's expecting that he should be up there with Carnegie and Vanderbilt and Rockefeller. These tall, imposing men who, when they walked into the room, they were commanding and everyone stood up and they hung on their every word. Jeff has never gotten that. Jeff has never been that guy. Ever. All the documentaries about him have been about how socially awkward he is. He's never been that dude. So what did he do after McKinsey? He hits the gym. He put that money to work. So you can see what he's showing you. He's wearing it all over him. What he knows what you all have been saying about him. And it bothers him. What is the war between him and Elon Musk over? Man, them two been fighting over every damn thing. Who owns this building? Who got more plants? Who's got more facilities? Who has a bigger yacht? What? No, seriously, go look that one up. Who's got a bigger, better rocket? Pause. He's trying to compensate. He doesn't want to be a laughing stock anymore. He's like, what good is it to be the richest man here? And I'm not treated like it. I'm not treated like it. He wants to be taken seriously. When's the last time you saw Jeff Bezos give that old goofy ass laugh of his? It's been what, at least 7, 8 years? He knows. He knows and he doesn't like it. He wants to be taken seriously. And he chose a female like Kanye chose Kim. White woman with dark hair. Jeff Bezos has done the same damn thing. Same thing. She's a chick who don't mind throwing her cleavage out there everywhere she goes. And because he is way behind the curve and doesn't realize that she's way out of style, she's way out of fashion, he doesn't get it. So he's remembering what she was 10 years ago, not what she currently is now. So he's overvalued her. But he's also balancing that with the emotional satisfaction and comfort that he's gotten with her, because she's been a model citizen up to this point. And she's probably going to need to hang in there for a few years. She is going to encourage Jeff to make some more investments, which he will have to do. To all of the prenup morons out there who do not understand, hey, stupid, a private agreement does not trump law. So she will not be bound by a prenup. She will be bound by the law. And if Jeff Bezos goes off and makes another $1 billion in some investment, you know, like maybe if he gets to take over NASA because Elon's about to lose it, something like that, she's here while he gets it. So whatever he gets and builds going forward, that's the community property. Whatever happens going forward, and he ain't done yet. So unless that prenup says, okay, baby, you get a quarter of every damn thing, if the prenup says that, well, then I guess he won't be shocked and surprised at whatever happens. The real question is, do you believe that she's worth a quarter of what he's doing, or what he's got, or even what he does from today? If he makes $100 million, is she worth 25? If he makes $2 billion, is she worth 500 million? Has she given $500 million of contribution? What the hell? Well, if she decides to cut out, I guarantee you he's not going to be thinking, well, it was worth it. With Mackenzie, that was a little different. Mackenzie was already there. So it's like, okay, baby, you know, I owe you that little bit right there. It's okay, even though that was outrageously wrong too. But okay, this chick here, no. She helped break up your first marriage. She took money out your damn. All she's done, take money out your pockets. Show me one dime she put in. Show me a penny that she dropped in his pocket. All he's done is pay. Men need to stop being so damn desperate and gullible. Laura Sanchez has not put a penny in Jeff Bezos' pocket. All he's doing is paying. And what I'm saying is, if the only thing he got out of the last 40 years of his damn life was that his money don't mean nothing, well then, sir, famous last words. Because there are plenty of people willing to take everything you got when you behave as if your money don't mean nothing. And now I believe he's found a female who has cozied up to him, called him while he was weak, but then again, he's always weak to a certain type of female. She done threw the quadruple X-rated throwdown 24/7. She is doing and being everything. He's been talking about marrying her now since he broke up with, since Mackenzie divorced him. When you said he was moving slowly, he was talking about the talk of them getting married started right then. He made it very clear he was not going to be leaving her. So the marriage talk was already going then. This is just a consummation of what was already going on. Already, so he didn't ease into this.
Okay, because I was kind of like, okay, well, maybe he's, put her through her paces for 7 years, so it's not like, but I kind of see what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
We all know about my rule that you don't just marry him in a year because somebody can be fake for a year. Well, this is true. But the issue is for somebody in Jeff Bezos's position who makes life easy. Brother, tell me what paces she could have been put through. Tell me the ups and downs that she's had to be with him through. Every day has been a damn vacation with him. Every time you look up, life for her has never been easier. So what paces has she been put through? What hardships? What has she had to overcome? Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah.
And when you realize that you have not crap tested her and she hasn't had to sacrifice anything, he's done gone through an expensive ass divorce because of her. What did she sacrifice in that divorce? What did she give up? What did she lose? What hardship stories and tales of sacrifice did she have to tell as a result of Jeff Bezos' divorce? What did she lose? Nothing. Nothing. Okay, then why did brother, you marrying her is a big ass promotion. What did she do to deserve that? What has she done to be worth getting promoted to wife? What? And furthermore, why? Okay, if y'all been kicking it for 7 years, why don't we just keep it going? Why do you have to stop now? If you two been kicking it since before the pandemic, why don't we just keep it just like it is? She can just be your companion for the rest of your life. I need men to get accustomed. I've been telling y'all this here for years. You don't have to do the polyamory thing or any little goofy garbage. But you can have a female who, if you're a man who is over the age of 40 or 45, especially if you've been married and already got kids, if you're going to deal with a female in your age group, that's fine. She needs to be I need to introduce you to a different term, not wife. Companion. She can be your companion for the rest of your days. You can do that. And then if she's worth a damn house, you can do that on the back end. If she's worth a car, you can do it on the back end. You can extend, if you're going to extend yourself, it's because she's proving in real time that she's worth that, not the state coming in later and saying, oh, well, she threw them rusty legs open for you long enough. Good enough. And just like, yeah, I'm good on that. You'll be back next week. If you pleased me last week, you'll be back next week. And that, at a certain point, that's what a man needs to have. Hey, you'll be back next week if I'm happy from last week. But if I'm not happy from last week because you know what you did, okay, then you know what? Let me help you go find somebody else. But I need men to get accustomed to the term companion. And if she is sexual dynamite in bed, I need men to get accustomed to the practice of having sex and sending her home. And I'll call you back if I want to see you. But fellas sitting up here thinking that they're going to overpay, cash out the damn bank, move in a problem, handcuff themselves to it. Men tend to be stupid in this day and era. They tend to just be dumb. And let me go ahead and articulate to you all exactly what I mean by dumb. You got men who sitting around here talking like dumbasses about relationships and marriage being a business. And one of Jason's laws, you need to avoid women who talk about relationships like a business because women do not see business the way that men do. When you say the word business, you don't mean the same thing she does. Men will die for business.
And deal with it.
That's the difference. Women will work for business. They ain't gonna die for it. Men will die over business. So when we say this is a business, we mean you all the way in or you all the way out, or you can get rubbed out. That's not what women mean. Women mean I'm in it for what I can get. That's, quote, business to women. Women do not believe that business is something you literally lose your life over. So you're a world-class moron or criminally naive when you're telling yourself that, oh, me and her are in business. Nigga, women don't mean business the way we do. And I can't depend on your fathers to tell you this because most of your fathers are clueless about that part right there. Women don't mean business the way we do. So when a woman talks about a relationship or marriage being a business, your red flags up. She does not mean she's going to die for it. She means I'm here to exchange something. She doesn't mean I'm going to die for it. So you're obligating yourself to the state, and the state doesn't care if you die. They're going to hold you to the law, even if it kills you. That's not what she thinks marriage is. Women do not think that marriage is holding them to their word, even if it kills them. They think marriage is holding you, the man, to your word, not her to hers. And Jeff Bezos should be smart enough for that. So I'm just telling the rest of you, maybe he ain't smart enough. You need to be. Maybe you're not smart. You're not smart enough, but you need to be. If he isn't smart enough, you need to be smart enough for yourself. Take all the females you want. Do it however you do it. At a certain point, marriage doesn't make a lot of sense. If we're not merging bloodlines, and if she can't have children, we ain't doing that. So why do we got to get married? For what? I can already legally sign. It's like having your parents. Your parents don't have to have a will. Most lawyers would tell the parents don't do that in the first damn place. You can have a trust or something that facilitates the transfer now, if that's what you really want to do. But as a man, if you want to transfer resources to this woman, you can transfer that in real time. If you want to make a will, I don't know if you should, but okay, go ahead. But after a certain point, this doesn't make any damn sense. There's nothing you're going to get from her marrying her that you won't get single, and there's nothing you can't transfer to her single that you can't transfer married. Nothing. But what men really think they're doing is you think you're tying her down. And she chasing this pension, man. She chasing this trust fund. She's chasing this 401k. And you think you're tying her down. It's not going to work that way. It never works. Women would not go into marriage if that's the way it worked. If that was the way marriage worked, women wouldn't be demanding it. Women demand marriage because they know it allows them to break whatever rules you think are going to be put on her. Women do not get married because they think they're going to be held to rules. They get married because they think marriage is going to let them break every rule. And the stunning divorce rate we have right now shows you what? Does the divorce rate show you that women think they're being held to their word? Or does the divorce rate show you that women are like, yeah, this allows me to walk away from anything I want to whenever I want to? Something that would have been a lot more troublesome had I remained single. You see, I like a lot of what this guy offers, but I want to have the ability to pick and choose and have all the leverage to dictate it to him. And if I decide that one day I want the benefits and not him, well, marriage is the only thing that can force that. I didn't bring you all these stories of Tiger Woods and Diddy and all these hoes doing crazy stuff after these men break up with their girlfriends because I'm bored. I'm showing you that, hey, in the new age, if they're after the bag, they're after the resources, and if I can get you without that, even if I got to lie, I'm going for it. This is not a fluke. This is the rule. This is the rule now. Men need to wake up and realize that your granddaddy's day is dead and buried. This is where we're at today. And this is a outrageously stupid decision on Jeff Bezos' part. Well, I guess he's entitled to make it, and I'm entitled to say it's stupid. There's nothing he can get from Laura Sanchez at 55 that he couldn't get from her single. There's nothing that's adding. Show me what she's getting that is being added value right now. Where's the extra value that he's getting? Now that he's married her, tell me the extra value that he gets after marrying her that he wasn't able to get from her single. Brother, you almost got all the value, but you're leaving something on the table. If you marry her, you're going to get even more. Well, we know the more that she gets. What's the more that he's going to get? I dare anybody to tell me the more that he's going to receive that wouldn't be accessible marrying her. Oh, I'm sorry. We've done this program 100 times now. Nothing.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, because my take on this is that you should really only marry the kind of woman that defines her identity as being a married woman. And I don't, that's probably going to be rare because you have to be raised to think like that. So,
I disagree with that one.
You don't think so?
Yeah, I'm going to have to teach you all to start thinking like lawyers. I don't know what you all think law school is, but for a lot of people who go to law school, you're very much encouraged to take a course in philosophy because you will be held to the letter of the law, not the spirit of it. You just used the term. You said that she needs to see herself as a married woman.
No, what I mean is she needs to define her sense.
Okay, so I heard you the first time. What I'm saying is that phrase, that term doesn't mean what you think it means. And the reason why it doesn't is because it's open to interpretation. I know what you think it means. Does she think it means the exact same thing? And I'm not talking about do you have to talk her into it and explain it. I mean, did she come to the table and that was what she was expecting? Y'all keep using terms that are open to interpretation and you don't understand that that's what you're doing. Let me give you something that's a lot less open to interpretation and a lot more what you are actually meaning. A female who wants to be the female version of you. Complete with your triumphs and your tragedies, your rewards and your shortcomings, your benefits and your liabilities. That she wants all of that. There's a reason why men get so damn face-chewing angry when they see a chick's up here and fight to have a dude's baby, because what that means is she wants him. Not the money, whether she wants him. That's why the red pill's created, because they saw females choosing guys in high school and college. Well, it wasn't because he had money. So they were choosing them at a raw, basic, primal level. The girls wanted him. They just want him. If I can just be associated with him. And what does she do? She dresses like him. She talks like him. If he's doing drugs and drinking, she starts drugging and drinking. If he's got tats, she wants tats. That's why you all have such a visceral, hostile reaction. Because that's the part that you're like, damn, but she doesn't show me that. That's that raw animal magnetism that cannot be faked. That can't be faked. That's why those things mean something. When she's getting tattoos, although eventually at a certain point it doesn't mean anything, but the first ones mean something. The first baby means something. The first tats means something. That means something. Everything after that is take it or leave it. So I don't know what she means by being a married woman, but we both mean the same thing when it says being the female version of me. That she wants to be Mrs. Mrs. J. She wants to be that. When she walks in the room, she wants people to see the female version of the man that she's chosen. When Ciara used to walk in the room, she was the female version of Future. Wasn't no question, wasn't no doubt. That's the female version of Future. When Beyonce walks into the room now, that's the female version of Jay-Z. Warts and all. That's the female version of him. And you got to deal with that. So females who do that, that's what you're investing in. Being females who want to be a married woman, she could be any. That depends. What does it matter if she's a married woman if she's being a married woman for another man? So at the end of the day, whether she's married to you or not, if she wants to imprint you on her and become the personification of the female personification of you, oh, that right there, now you're bonded. And I submit to you all that Laura Sanchez has not demonstrated that she's the female version of Jeff Bezos. She's the exact same woman that she was with the last three dudes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because you haven't articulated it exactly like that before. That's the first time I've heard you articulate it.
Show me anything about her that says CEO. Anything about her that says richest woman in the world. Anything about her that says you understand distribution and internet commerce. We know about him. What about her? Nor has she expressed any interest or desire therein. She just wants to go jet setting, Miami, Dubai, hang out, sport her bikini, go see the doctor for a lift in the tuck. That's what she has demonstrated an aptitude for that. Jeff could get a chick 25, not 55. He can get a chick 25 years old who is stunning. But he's not going to do that. Because that female doesn't know how to cater to him or pander to him. She hasn't learned that yet. Laura does. What I'm saying is he's dropped his guard. And she played the long game, but eventually she's been applying the pressure. And now he's gone ahead and given in. He's made a star-studded affair. He thinks he's making this an irreplaceable, indispensable event. He doesn't understand that women want the wedding, not the marriage. She's gotten the wedding now. That's it. Star-studded wedding. They invited a bunch of celebrities they don't even know. She's gotten all the benefits. She can't do it more than once. You can only get married for the first time one time. And men don't understand how quickly women get over that. She's over it. She's already got the benefits. Now she wants to look on to the next thing. And if the plan is, okay, plan A, get the bag. Plan B, find me a nigga I can really get along with. And he might be telling himself, well, she's 55 years old, so I've stretched her out so far over the water. Bruh, she was stretched out over the water when she was 40. If you think that Laura Sanchez does not think that she can still pull at 60, she just got married to Jeff Bezos. How are you going to convince her that she can't pull at 60? She'll just do like Kris Kardashian, go get her a boy toy. And that'll work out for her. Now she can go lay up with dudes on her ex-husband's money. And he'll probably sit there and tell her, well, all right, Lauren, you do that. Probably do that too. Kind of reminds me of Elon Musk, by the way. So, seems to run amongst these dudes. I'll let you have the last word.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to throw that stuff out there. It's interesting how, because you want the female version of you, but you don't want, somebody that's like you. I mean, you want to make sure that she remains the female version of you and not the male version of you, right? So that's good that you kind of articulated that. I'd kind of be interested to hear you kind of define that a little bit more to make sure that that version of you is still female. But yeah, so I appreciate answering my questions.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. If a woman doesn't know how to be a female, she shouldn't be with you. So if I have to teach her how to be a female, if her femininity is not the dominant aspect of her, what the hell are we doing? So I don't even think that requires explanation. If you haven't chosen her for her feminine traits, what are you doing, bro? Get your LGBT t-shirt on and just be what it is. But I don't think I have to tell a female how to be a female. If I have to tell a female how to be female, that's a problem. If she doesn't already exude femininity in my presence, why is she here? So what's understood should not have to be explained. And if it has to be explained, it is clearly not understood. Let me go ahead and see if we can get back over here on Zoom. Let me get to Blue up here on Zoom. Where's Blue at? There you are. All right, Blue, what's on your mind?
What up, JB? A couple of points that I want to touch on that you said that really resonate with me. First is they relish in destroying men. And I've seen this on social media where I don't know if it's a trend, but I've heard it from several, not female content creators, but just females in passing. It's a joke where they'll say, if he's down, finish him off type shit, if that makes sense. It's like certain females have a thought process where if you come across a man who's already down, finish him off. And that's really a thing. That's really scary. That's why I've really slowed my pace with these females and kind of slow rolled them, because if you show any weakness, if you tell them anything about your situation, you know, getting out of a divorce, you got a baby mama that done took you through the ringer, whatever the case is, you got an ex-wife that took you through the ringer, they're going to see that as, okay, I need to go ahead and finish this man off.
Well, I mean, I think it's because most men do not want to have an accurate assessment of who they're dealing with. They don't want to take a look at themselves and look at her and ask, why is she here? And then make a conscious, objective analysis of it. They don't want to accept that you're not actually the person she wants. You're just who she could get. You were who was available. You were who she could get. And she resents that. She resents when she finally has to break down and just admit that this is the best she can do, even if she feels that she is worth more. But she can't tell you that, because otherwise she gets no chair when the music stops at all. So this is what I mean by a lot of men do not understand that the women today don't really like you. You're just who was there. And I did this program years ago. I did a whole program about you being a pit stop. The majority of men do not understand that you're just a pit stop. And a lot of men think that I meant that you're a pit stop on the way to another man. And I'm like, no, a lot of you are pit stops on the way to a destination. Divorcing Jeff Bezos, you're a pit stop on the way to her being independently wealthy without you.
And that's interesting. What you just said kind of remind me of, say, back in the day, me and the guys, we would go to the local middle school football field to play football, right, on Sundays after the Chiefs game, right? And sometimes it'd be like 11 on 11 or maybe 7 on 7 or whatever the case was. And it was tackle. But it was always some fat kid who wasn't really athletic who wanted to run routes. And it's like, dude, you need to know what your skill set is and accept it. We can get you some plays. We're going to get you some touches, but, you know, we got 11 on 11. We got 4 people rushing. We need some blockers. But you want to be outside on the outside running routes, we're not going to throw you the ball. And that kind of reminds me of how females, they're not really taking a true assessment of themselves and saying, hey, I know I want a professional athlete or entertainer, but am I really professional athlete or entertainer type? And then they internalize that, and then they try to take that out on the man whom they are qualified for, or or at least give them a chance.
Well, I mean, look, when a person is harboring a hostility, there's only so long they can sit on it. And a lot of men just put themselves in a position to be subject to hostility later. If you're the best she can do, she'll smile while she's there because, oh, she's hurting right now. But if she doesn't really believe that you should be the best she can do, well, you're a pit stop. And if you're a pit stop, she cannot wait to get to the next level. And as far as she's concerned, every time that she had to sit there and let you lay on top of her, that was an insult. That was an offense. Every time she had to tolerate that. Do you hear the way that these women talk about marriage when they leave? Take a look at the way they talk about it when they leave. If men would actually listen, they would realize, I'll be damned, she wasn't upset a year before she got divorced. She was upset the whole damn time. She was looking to get at you the whole time. She didn't like it the whole time. Why didn't you see it? You didn't see it because you didn't want to see it. But if men were brutally honest with themselves, they would realize, yeah, that's really what it is. It's really that. I just have a public forum where we can discuss that openly in a two-sided conversation, a two-way conversation, so that we can talk about, by the way, what's really going on? What do they really think? What does the math really tell you? Can you be honest enough to admit that the majority of females are looking for Christian Grey? They're looking for a dude who's stacked up. They're looking for the dream dude. She really means it. She's not joking. Those romance novels are not a joke. And she is offended and resentful if she has to settle. Because that's what she defines as settling.
And it's funny that you made mention about romance novels, because there is um, a older lady in my family who, when I would go to this particular house, she would have these romance novels, the same romance novels with the Fabio guy with his shirt off on the front type, and not knowing that she had the Prince Charming right there all along. If she would just sit back and just look at the man whom she was married with, one of my uncles, she would see that she had the prince, she had the superhero already right there. It wasn't packaged like you read in the novel, but if you really just sit back and think about it, that man's a superhero.
Oh boy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In the
No,
type shit.
no,
But
brother. No, 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 no. That's fellas. I need you to have a come to Jason moment and just come to the level. Fellas, listen to me. The buy a cat and die alone mess that wasn't gonna work because that wasn't actually addressing or accepting reality. Passion cannot be faked. And what I mean is you igniting passion in her. You can't fake it. You can't talk your way into it. You can't stack up your resume. You can't hire an attorney to make your argument for you. It's either there or it isn't. Women place a high value on attraction. But then again, people do. Women are not willing. Men have a range. Women have a type. That's the difference. So the things that qualify for attraction to us, we have a spectrum. Women, the reason the romance novels sell is because they don't have a spectrum. They have a type. And whatever that type is. So if you don't ignite it, if you don't light her fire, it ain't lit. And what you're asking her to do is to ignore that and place value on other things that she is not passionate about. That's what you're asking. And what I'm saying is you're making a logical argument. You're just not making a satisfying one. That's the problem. Oh, what you're saying is perfectly logical. It's also telling her she has to give that up. And that's a hell of a negotiation tactic. Well, look at here's everything you're going to give up. Okay, wow, can't wait to sign for this one. Can't wait to sign the dotted line for this for the rest of my life. I need men to understand what's really being said and what you're really asking. You're really asking the women to give up something they really want and to replace that importance with something else that really doesn't have the same value to her. Because you're not dealing with a concept, you're dealing with a human being. You don't know if you know what she grew up at. What if she has always wanted to stunt on her sisters and she wants that more than anything else? That's what she's been waiting to do for the last 20, 30 years. And if there's nothing about you that is stunt worthy, or worse, if there's things about you that are actually kind of mockable, can be mocked. You trying to get her to look at something else? That's the reason why it doesn't work, man. You all have to level with who is this person? What does she want? What is she really about? This is what she wants. That's what she really wants because she has a reason for it. And if men would dig into it and find out what it is, it would make sense to you. And then you can figure out whether or not what she's giving you is a line. Because no woman ever tells you I'm settling for you until the day she's ready to leave or until she gets mad. Now she tells you I settled for you. But they don't say that when they need you. So you have to take a look at the facts and stop trying to, don't deny what women want. Like I say, as men, that's why I give you all the analogy of Lizzo. Lizzo trying to sell you on personality. Hey, Blue, don't worry about me being a size 18. But think about my personality, though, dude. You worry about everything. Your super heroine is right here, Blue. I'm your super heroine.
Nah, that's her personality is it manifested itself, quote unquote, on the outside.
Okay,
But
but if she was bad to the bone, that would be a different matter. And I'm just talking about the short term. Maybe you ain't gonna make a lifelong commitment to her. Why would you? But what I'm saying is that it's just there, that right there. First of all, the presentation is bad, and you're saying that shows the other things, and you're right. What I'm saying though is that as a package, if there are certain deal breakers that the woman is going to have.
but Jason, uh, you're not when you go to the negotiation table. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but a good deal is made when both parties are not satisfied or something to that effect. Do I have that correct?
I mean, certainly that's the definition of compromise. Compromise is an acknowledgement that you're not going to get everything you would ideally want. So to try to negotiate for what you absolutely need.
Right. So what I'm saying is that, for the ladies to not be idealistic. And what I mean by idealistic is that your ideals may come in a different
Okay,
package,
but what are women told? I can have it all.
but that's not the truth.
Who defines truth?
You're right about that.
Especially when they're taught that they can manifest. They have an endless parade of pastors and preachers telling them the only thing between you and your dreams is you're not praying hard enough or you ain't living right. But there's no reason you cannot have everything you want. Now pass the collection plate.
Yeah, but that's something that I try to press upon everybody. Like, bro, you can't just, and I think it was said in the Bible. I forgot who said it, but they said faith without works is dead. So if you can sit up all day and manifest a six pack, but if you're not watching what you eat and actually doing crunches, you're not gonna get a six pack. You get what I'm saying? You can sit up all day and play Madden and smoke weed and try to manifest $1 million, but if you don't try to build a skill set and monetize said skill set, you're not gonna get to $1 million.
Yeah, but brother, I mean, but that's the whole attraction of your romance novels. That's the whole attraction of your romance novels, your soap operas, your 50 Shades of Grey, your romance movies. These women are never exceptional women. That's the reason why women love those kind of things. These are not films and books and TV shows that portray exceptional women, really. I mean, that's the metaphor. It's usually going to be the average chick. So what they want to believe is that I can be the average female, i.e. just myself, just as I am, and that an exceptional man wants that as much as the average basic dude. That both of them are equally willing to accept that.
And I hear you railing against Shaq about sliding in Home Depot gals DMs or whatnot. Now I see the point. Because if she got Shaq in her DMs, I don't stand a chance if I see her at Walmart or if I go to Home Depot and I'm like, yo, where's the screwdrivers at?
Yeah, because people are naturally inclined to do the minimal. So if a female is able to get an NBA player or a rapper in her DMs and she's dressed in her damn pajamas with her Crocs on, how you gonna get her to put on a mini skirt and get her hair done? How are you ever going to convince her to do that? She's like, well, I gotta do all that. Take a look at the results I was getting. I'm fine and just getting out of bed. I woke up like this.
Right.
And that's literally really what you are up against. Right. Now you're trying to convince her that that's not reality, and you're trying to convince her that you bringing her up something she was not ideally dreaming of, that's what she needs to put a high premium on. That's going to be a hell of an uphill fight. The bottom line is that you can't fake passion. If you're not igniting it in her, she's like, I'm missing it. I can't fake it. I'm missing it. And she's going to give a lot less effort because she's like, well, why would I give maximum effort if I'm not going to get everything I want?
Now that right there leads me to another point, and I think you referenced it, but I just noted it. I annotated it down as dudes dirty macking, and I think it was the Tamara or one of the twins, the sister twin, one of them, where she has guys in her comment sections pumping her head up, right? And if I can just get a little personal, a little bit, shout out to my baby mama, love you, no hard feelings. Um, she had her second baby daddy, right? I believe this guy was dirty macking and trying to come in with a certain glitz and glam and trying to wow her and be the new shiny thing. And Nas had a line in his Stillmatic song, and this kind of ties in with the boring or the not flamboyant that we just was talking about. And Nas said, a quiet man who used to be alone planning. Baby moms thought I was too quiet, couldn't stand it. She hit the streets later on. She hitting the sheets with a rapper who wanted me on her song, thinking he's strong. I used to tell her, watch the cars who might follow, taught her street shit that I know. Her weakness was shine, yo, but that's her. I ain't mad, baby. But yeah, so in my personal life, when I was with my ex, my Gail and whatnot, she started acting different, and come to find out she had a dude on the side, which turned out to be baby daddy number 2. At the time, I was a broke college student studying for computer science, right? So my life was, how you say, it was structured, right? And
well, they don't ever believe they can replace you with something better. It's only until they get to Tia Mowry's point. They don't ever believe they can't replace you with something better. So the world has to prove that to them. They think that there's always at least if they feel like if they can get you, it's guaranteed there's at least another you out there. And if there isn't, there's at least another you and probably better. That's the assumption that they're making, and no female tells you this. Now they're thinking it. They are all thinking it. ALL, all 100%. Every single female is thinking that. They just know better than to come out and say it to you because they don't want to have to prove it. They're thinking it, but they don't want to have to prove it, and they don't want you putting them in a situation where they have to prove it. But yeah, I mean, definitely they're always going to have a situation where that is occurring, and the argument's not going to be able to be made that they can't replace you. So even if it's Nas, you're up and coming, you're struggling or whatever, she thinks she's doing you a favor by being there. Unless she's like young and naive in high school or whatever, but once they get out here in the world and get some grown men laying on top of them, she's changed. And she does not see you or herself the same way anymore. So now she believes, let me figure out how well I can do. She doesn't think she has to wait for you to get on. She doesn't think she has to wait for you to get built. She feels like I'm already hitting the way I am right now. Why do I got to wait for you to get built? I'm already hitting as I am.
Yeah.
I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah, the thing about that, though, is success doesn't come with a lot of fireworks. Success moves silently. Success is mundane. Success is repetition. When you see somebody walking the streets or walking the beach with his shirt off or in her bikini and their body is sculpted, that didn't come from a lot of exciting, spontaneous type of behavior. That came from a lot of mundane, rudimentary, day after day, busting up the ship, bro, grinding the millstone type of behavior. And
right, but the thing is, a woman wants to feel successful.
Yeah.
And if you are not impressive, she doesn't feel successful. And she doesn't feel that you're successful.
But what I'm saying is that people need to recognize what success, men and women need to recognize what success is and what successful behavior is. Because you'll come across a lot of guys out here who they think that they can just fake until they make it, buy a bunch of moissanite chains, buy a basic V6 charger, and slap some Hellcat decals on the side, and they think that they're a platinum rapper. It's like, no, dude, you need to get your vocabulary up, get your beats up if you want to be a rapper, and put out some hits. And then you can get real diamonds and a real Hellcat. But yeah, I appreciate you though.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. Yeah, like I say, I mean, we can argue logic, but logic doesn't take the place of passion. If you are not impressive, if there is not something that she feels is highly impressive and that's what she really wants, you're not going to be able to get around that. If she doesn't see you as impressive and she is hell-bent for leather on being impressive and you are not matching up or meeting what she the expectation of being impressive, nah, buddy. No, man. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. I'm not going to say necessarily that even should work that way. I want people to be honest and cognizant of things. She can want impressive, I guess, if she's equally as impressive. The problem is, if you want to put that standard of what's impressive down there, okay, women do not believe you until the phone stops ringing. When the phone stops ringing, then they believe things. They don't believe anything until that happens. Especially if they're on the decline. When they get on the decline, they start rationalizing crazy stuff. Them fellas in Tia Mowry's DMs are worthless. She's got lowered value, but the men in her DMs got no value whatsoever. And that's what she's gone to the internet making videos bragging about what's going on in her DMs. Baby, the men in your DMs are worthless. They have no value. They're like guys who watch porn, fantasizing over the porn chick. That's what you got. You got that there. They're not impressive. They're not bringing value. They're overrated fanboys. They're excellent to call you mommy, mistress, queen, but that's it. None of them is trying to figure out how to take your kids to soccer practice. None of them are trying to figure out how to finance a Rolls Royce Cullinan for you to drive. None of them are trying to figure out the vacation house you're going to stay in. None of them are trying to do that. They're trying to figure out how to Netflix and chill. They want to be able to say they knocked down Tia Mowry. That's what they're on. None of them there's not a one of them who is breaking a bead of sweat trying to figure out how to elevate your life. None. They're not the least bit interested in that, and it's not happening. The reason why she was complaining about, well, the men talking about she got kids is because, yeah, that has to be factored into your value. Any fellow who wants to be with you is going to have to take on Corey's kids. That's not really a value-added proposition. That isn't an value-added proposition for a man. But it doesn't help that you got fellas reinforcing to her that notion. And they're sitting there and everything's going great and take a look at how wonderful it can be here. And, oh, I'm just queen, mother, mistress, and I am just so fly and I'm so great. That's not helping men, because it encourages men to keep blinders on. And right now it has become the culture to see if you can find a sucker out there who can be victimized. And he's sitting up here telling himself and he's making a fantastic down payment and that they'll be obligated to him and he's negotiating a fantastic deal. And if everybody upholds their end of the bargain, which they won't, and then they'll be sitting in the comment section sooner or later here complaining and whining about the fact that, by the way, oh yeah, you know, they were cheering as loudly when she wanted to divorce as they were when she wanted to marry. That's the thing that men don't understand. The goal is to use your concept of, quote, love and set yourself behind the 8 ball, and they will be figuring out. They'll be sitting there cheering as loudly when she divorces as when they married you. Now, that's the part that's really going to destroy you. I'll be damned. All these folk who were cheering when we got together, they're still cheering. They're cheering her now on her way out the door. None of them are telling her she's wrong. None of them are talking her out of it. None of them are saying that she needs to rethink it. None of them are doing any of that. They're just saying, yep, she's right no matter what. Nobody has that conversation with you at the altar. No one has that conversation at the altar. Some folks like Jeff Bezos, they're going to have to figure that out the hard way. But that's up to them. And then again, that's what a lot of guys want. You know, the truth of the matter is, a lot of men want to be destroyed.
Nigga, what?
I said that. The truth of the matter is that a lot of men today have a masochistic streak. Their mothers treated them some kind of way or neglected them. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of them they're looking for a female to destroy them. Which is why what we're saying doesn't make an impression on them, because we're getting in the way of what they actually want. A lot of these dudes actually want a chick who's going to destroy them, who's going to annihilate them. That's what they actually want. They want that. Now, they're not going to say that's what they want. No, they're just going to choose a female who's going to do it. Fellas who go out here and get kids by chicks and whatnot, it's like, dude, if she wasn't worth marrying, she's not worth having a kid by, what are you doing? Oh, he wants a female that he can have this round and round with, and they can beat each other's throats, and they can be sitting up here messing each other over and whatnot. And so we'll create our little trauma bond over here. This is something that is very easily avoided. But for a lot of people, they would rather be with you, even if it's constant fighting and tension, than to not be with you. So a lot of males out here today, that's really what they're on. That's what they're on. They are on that. They are trying to be in a situation. They want a female who's going to dog them, put them through their paces, make them feel bad, break up to make up to break up, until eventually something really vicious happens. And it's only when that really vicious thing occurs that then he's like, oh, hell. We all saw how weird and bug-eyed looking Tia Mowry was from the very beginning. Corey went off with her anyway. And it didn't dawn on him that this was a problem until she said, yeah, I want to get divorced. I don't care how nice you are. I want to get divorced. Yeah, you're just, you're cramping my style. And then she wasn't content to just do that. She had to go to the internet to go dog him out. Yeah, brother, she's been waiting a while to do this to you. The whole time you two been together, she's been waiting a while to be able to have this moment where she could really just mess you up. There's a lot of fellas who want that. And they're going to get what they're looking for. Not only do they want it, they're going to get what they're looking for. They're going to get that. They're not going to want that either when it gets done with them, but they'll go for it. To all the men out there listening to me right now, like I say, all I've tried to do is articulate to you that you have other options. There are other ways of seeing things. You don't have to go buy blow up dolls. You don't have to go get an AI girlfriend. You don't have to do any of that nonsense. You do need to do your due diligence. You do need to be objective about yourself. You need to make sure that you're taking stock of who and what you are. You do have to make sure that you have increased value so that you can have options, real options, because a man doesn't have to want to have a female who's a 10 or an exotic car, but you should have the option. The whole thing is about having the capacity and the option, so that if you do say no, that's fine. Say no, but make sure that you're saying no was actually a choice that you made, not one that was made for you by somebody else. Make sure that you're able to make that decision on your own for yourself. Otherwise, you're going to be looking for a woman to complete you. Otherwise, you'll be looking for a woman to complete you. And there are a whole bunch of chicks who are on their way down. They're on their way down. They're on their way out. And they're looking for somebody here. It's like, okay, you'll do. And you're the next victim. Although, are you a victim if you actually want to be? I don't know if I can necessarily say that you're a victim. I mean, if you're aware of this, if you're desperate, that doesn't make you a victim. You're not a victim because you're desperate. You're a victim when you're unknowing. You're a victim when they told you we're going to do A and you said okay and then do B. You're not a victim when you can see that you're laying down with a snake. You're laying down with a wolf. That's not a victim. That right there isn't a victim. That's a fool, but it's not a victim. And a lot of fellas are going to be upset because people are being a lot less sympathetic of men who want to get took. The men who want to get took. If that's what you desire, you are in a world that will give you what you're looking for. If that's what you really want. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out here to Kratos Smith, Tom Slick, Tommy Cruz. Thank you all very much for your support there in the Super Chat. We appreciate that. If you are new here to the business, welcome to the program that all your favorite YouTubers love to hate watch. This is the definitive school of power dynamics. We discuss what no one else does because no one else can. And you need to join us. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. One more thing, be looking for it. If you've listened to this program here tonight, make sure you subscribe to it. Make sure you look for us here. YouTube is changing the way. They've changed the way they do things. They suppress channels like this because we're not corporatized. We're not silly. We put these things into practice. We don't promote endless consumerism. But that also means they shadow ban what we do here. They hide what we do here. People are constantly having to look for us. So if you want to stay in the loop, if you want to be in the one place that actually does deliver to you actionable, concrete information analysis you can actually put into practice and use, and you can call me back, then make sure that you stay proactive about it. This doesn't just need to be something you subscribe to. This needs to be something that you look for. This has to be must-see TV. So make sure that if you like what you're seeing here, you need to be a part of it actively. YouTube is not going to help it. You're going to have to do your part. Or listen to the fakers who are going to give you all sorts of erroneous nonsense and leave you messed up in the game. That's the option for you too. If you haven't been to our Patreon, the link is in the description. We do it every weekend, 12 noon Central Time. You are more than welcome to join us over there on Patreon. I give information, tips, advice, things that I don't discuss here on YouTube because the elite is over there. So for the folks who really value that, that is available for you here as well. I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program, live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of The Business. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, Handle your business, or your business will handle you.